Looks to come inside and fire one a goal and find the back of the net for Perth.
And the Azzurri have come back from 2 goals down to tie it up.
Cue the celebrations for the Azzurri.
Yeah, welcome to the Perth SC Podcast, coming to you from Dorrien Gardens. Great to have you with us for another week. Powered, of course, by Lidio Fiore and the team at the Panorama Club, Perth's premier private members club and luxury workspace, and also Camera House Leederville, the go-to destination for the Leederville and wider Perth creative community, providing expert advice and a comprehensive range of photography and video equipment. Plenty to get through on this episode. It is another huge episode. We'll be speaking to Ken Anthony a little bit later on. Now, most of you will know Ken as the friendly face that greets you at the gate here at Dorrien Gardens, but Ken is also the coach of our blind football team here at Perth Soccer Club. So a fascinating chat coming up, and I'm looking forward to learning a fair bit about that as well. So looking forward to that. Also, we'll be speaking to our NPLW captain, Hannah Collins. She's going to jump on board with us, and we'll have a bit of a chat about what's happening with the NPLW side. A massive win on the weekend, of course, knocking off the Football West Academy on Sunday, and we will get into that a little bit later on with Hannah and have a bit of a chat about where she is at currently with the NPLW side. Also, I've got some big news regarding the NPLW side. I've got some exclusive news, can we call it, in journalism terms. I'm going to reveal a little bit of that a bit later on, and make sure you stick around for that because it is very, very big news. Firstly, a bit of a disappointing loss for the NPL men's side on the weekend. On Saturday, in fact, they were knocked out of the cup by last year's winners, Olympic Kingsway. Going into the match, Kenny Lowe made a couple of changes again. Mark Birighitti took his regular spot between the sticks. Julian Kelly kept his spot at left back as Luca Herninger returned to the first team after a couple of weeks out with illness. So that was fantastic to see Luca back in the side. He partnered with Curtis Mogg at centre back, and Josh Callis slotted into his familiar right back position. Michael Scarfetta returned to the side to take his spot on the wing, joining David Ninkovic, Sam Ryak and Abdul Osman across that 4-man midfield, while Ethan Banks partnered Gordon Perkins in attack once again. But it was a bit of a nightmare start for the Azzurri as a loose pass from Sam Ryak presented Olympics' Joe Hobson with a bit of a gift to slot home past Mark Birighitti within the first 10 minutes. And unfortunately, the nightmare outing continued for Ryak when he deflected a Tyler Garner cross into his own net to make it 2-0 to the home team. The bad luck then continued as they lost defender Curtis Mogg to injury midway through the first half. But despite that, the chances still presented somewhat for Perth as Banks and Perkins both managing to test Olympic keeper in Adrian Sinagra. There was a bit of a golden chance for the Azzurri to get one back in the 55th minute, but Daniel Fakeney unfortunately failed to capitalise after being fed by Ethan Banks. Olympic looked to put the game out of reach when Sean O'Connor impeded Olympics' Layat Maniac on his way to goal, which Hobson then tucked away. And it was a bit of a day out, in fact, for Hobson because he would complete his hat-trick minutes later. And despite 2 late goals for Perth from Josh Kaller and David Ninkovic, the Azzurri would fall to that 4-2 scoreline. So out of the cup for Perth, a little bit disappointing that we couldn't have had a bit more of a run, but of course, full focus now on the league. So, look to bounce back when the boys take on Western Knights this Friday night. We'll have a bit of a chat about that towards the back end. Now, for the Azzurri girls, as I mentioned, a massive win on Sunday afternoon to defeat the only other undefeated side in the division. It was a 3-0 win here at Dorrien Gardens as Dale Schroeder took her place between the sticks behind the ever-reliable Matilda Boehm and Kim McCartney. April Nocent and Ruby Marshalls, they held down the fullback positions, and Tom Glavovich opted for a midfield 3 of Daisy McAllister, Hannah Collins and Maya Archibald, with Jess Flannery, Louise Turner and Sam Mathers leading the attack. As I mentioned, it was a fixture that saw both teams go into it unbeaten so far in 2025, and it was her again. Yep, Daisy McAllister opened the scoring. Another specky from Daisy as she jumped onto the end of a bit of a lofted April Noscent pass, in which McAllister just hit it first time from one corner of the 18-yard box to the other side of the net, and absolutely outdoing the academy keeper there in Daisy McCready-Cole. So a really good quick start there for the girls, and the chances kept coming for the Azzurri as the academy side had pretty much no answers for Perth's attacking prowess. There was attempts by Tana, and even Kim McCartney managed to get up and have a little bit of a dig from distance. There was also a leaping header from Matilda Bowen, managed to be kept out, unfortunately for Matilda, by McCready-Cole. And but it wouldn't be long until the resistance was defeated, shall we say. And in what was a perfect link-up between Archibald and McAllister, there was a nice little flick which fed the perfectly timed run from Tanner to split the defence and double the advantage for Perth. And while the academy had a couple of brief moments of encouragement, but it would eventually be sealed as Azzurri's day when Jess Flannery found the net following a perfect pass from her partner in crime in Sam Mathers. So the Azzurri girls capped off a 3-0 victory to stay unbeaten so far in 2025. And a quick look at the ladder. The Football West Academy still lead the way on 18 points, with the Azzurri sitting in second, but they have played a match less, so it is for the girls to really capitalise on that gap now. Red Star, they occupy third place after a 5-0 win over Balcatta. Fremantle jumped to fourth after beating Subiaco. Balcatta remain in fifth with a fair few make-up games to come. So one to watch is Balcatta for the next few, maybe the next couple of months. Subiaco in sixth, and finally UWA and Murdoch Uni down at the foot of the table. So that's the way it sits heading into this weekend. Of course, the Azzurri girls up against Fremantle, and we'll have a bit of a chat about that towards the back end of the podcast. Other results across the weekend, well, there was no under 23s and no 18s for it being a cup round, so a bit of a free weekend. I'm sure the two sides will come back very, very refreshed after a weekend away from football. For our 21s women, well, unfortunately, they suffered a 5-2 loss at the hands of the Football West Academy. Alyssa Klomp back on the scoring sheet, as well as Sophie Rennie for the 21s Perth women. So, hopefully another side that can bounce back over the next couple of weeks. So there we have it, a little bit of news out of our senior sides. Let's get into our first guest, in fact. Let's take a brief break and we'll come back on the other side. Ken Anthony from the Blind Futsal Programme to join us next. Welcome back to the Perth SC Podcast. Big guest to come. We're going to be speaking to Hannah Collins a little bit later on, captain of the NPLW side. But as mentioned, we're going to chat something a little bit different for all of our regular listeners. Ken Anthony's with us. Now, many of you will know Ken as the friendly face that greets you on match day here at Dorrien Gardens, but he's also the head coach of our blind futsal football team here at Perth Soccer Club. So he does a lot of work behind the scenes in that space as well, and I thought it was only right that we get him on because there's a big season launch coming in just a few weeks' time. So we'll have a bit of a chat about that as well. Ken, thanks for jumping on, mate.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
No worries at all. Briefly, give us a little bit of a rundown into blind football, what it is and who's it for.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, so blind futsal, as it's known, is very simply five-a-side soccer. So you have 5 players that come together, but they are challenged by the fact that they either have low vision and have their own classifications, B2 and 3, or they have no vision at all, and they're classified as a B1 player. So there are 2 types of the sport. And it's open to all participants who would like to play in that same frame. So to do so, you just wear the blindfold, and it's part of the empathy session when we run the clinics and the training sessions, so that everyone can learn and have a feel of what it's like to remove one sense and really stumble along in the game. And our athletes make it look really, really good. So it's open to the players who are part of the organisation, Blind Sports Western Australia, and they're involved in many sports. But thankfully, they found a home here at Perth Soccer Club, and we're able to honour that and provide that forum and give them the training and the enjoyment and the participation for their special diversity inclusivity of the version of this match.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, great stuff, and a really important program, and we're super proud to have that here at Perth Soccer Club. Is the vision impairment the only things that some of these people are facing? Is that on top of a few other things, or is it just general? Yeah,
well, we have all players from all walks of backgrounds in life, and the challenge is that we have a very broad scale or gradient scale shifting. So some aging out athletes that have been with us for a while. We've got some new fresh faces coming in to join us this year. But the challenge, like you say, is not just the vision. It's also the proprioception, their balance and gait and stride and balance. It's coordinating and how to navigate in a space where there's so much sound. And when you have low vision or no vision, you're truly dependent on being able to navigate by sonar or sound or assistance. But when you take everything away and you've got to run around and you've got all the noise of the screaming players and the ball and the goals and everything else, it becomes a cacophony of distortion. So that is the primary function. Can they control the chaos, and can they find themselves and stay aloft and participate and be athletic and competitive?
Now, I guess from the outside looking in, Ken, we might imagine the training to be very similar, but in the same way, very, very different. What's some of the special kind of training, regimes that you go through?
Absolutely. Look, it's really unique in the sense that we have to adapt almost a tactile and auditory command. So when players are moving, unlike in able-sighted games or versions of soccer or football that people are familiar with, everything needs to be announced and communicated. So if I have the ball and I have the ball, I need to, by the rules, make sure that people can hear that I have the ball by moving it back and forth so I can jingle the ball bearings in the ball.
Wow.
On top of that, I also have to be aware of the fact that my players need to know where I am and that I still have possession. So I need to say I have the ball. If I need to play the ball to a player, I need to then locate and generate my position to them in space and find where they are so I can then play the ball. So I'll let them know. And if I'm playing, say, with you, Blaine, I'll say, Blaine, do you want the ball? You'd say yes. I'll say, great, Blaine, here it comes. And you go, great. When you receive it, I need to acknowledge because I can't see that I've successfully passed the ball. So at that point, you need to communicate. So we're always thinking 4 or 5 moves ahead, on top of the fact that at any time we could be bowled over by a defender yelling at us, Voy, who's coming to challenge us.
Sure.
So it's all under high pressure. So the idea is to teach the players to be confident and communicate and think in such a distressing environment so they can actually play and move the ball around.
And you mentioned, as we were chatting and putting this together, you mentioned some of the biomechanical kind of training, which I guess this is all leading into, Ken.
Sure. So having a background in sports movement and development, focusing on balance, coordination and gait restoration, it helps. And also a little bit of Tai Chi is used to help these players find body movement and biomechanics. So when you're confronting a defender and you've got a player that's coming to on your right-hand side or left-hand side, they're going to push and press on you and you're going to move off the ball and they'll generally push you off the ball to get it. And that's done in a physical challenge and it's done in a legal capacity. With blind futsal, when the player's coming, it's knocking you off your center. So you need to be able to navigate, frame yourself, put your arms up, and literally coordinate where that player is. When you feel that tactile touch, you're obviously moving in an inverse space. So where they go, you move the opposite angle, and then you cut in a 45 degree and move off the ball. A lot of this makes sense when you see it because people that watch go, wow, are these people actually low vision or blind? Because when they're playing the game, they look like they're native and able-sighted. When they come off, they grab their canes and sticks and some support animals, and then they're back to their normal selves. But on the pitch, they do so quite amazingly.
It must bring a great sense of confidence, independence, skill learning. Obviously, this would be areas that I mean, plenty of able-bodied people struggle with from time to time, but to be able to get these skills in areas that you might have struggled previously must be really rewarding.
It is. I try to keep the tension in the training very high and focused and thorough, sternly. But we start with a smile, end with a smile, and we hug it out because the players know that at the end of the day, I'm there to improve their personal sense of well-being, and confidence is key. So they couldn't do it if they didn't trust me, and it's been a learning tool. A little bit of history in the game. Played the futsal at a semi-professional, high competitive state. So that gives you a background of the game. But having coached for many, many years on and off with Perth, for almost 30 years now, junior development, it's been a miriam of putting those things together, nice, happy marriage that allows me to translate the game to these players so they can come out and say, well, today, not only did I learn how to shoot, tackle and pass, I can dribble and I can run with the ball. To see a person who's low vision or completely blindfolded, not just walking and stumbling, but moving laterally, sidestepping, dragging the ball and moving like any other able player is beyond words. It's awestruck, and it's a sight that needs to be behold. We need to invite more people to come and watch us train and play and join in.
Well, you did exactly that last year, didn't you? Because I think you played the Perth 18s, and I'll tell us all about it.
Absolutely. We played a few of the internal club teams, which was really, really good, leading up in our preparation. And we've been together now. This is our fourth year for 2025. We've remained undefeated. So in the sense that when people, the 18s, for example, and we've had the 16s girls as well come through, and a few other teams from Perth have come through to trial, putting the blindfold on. We do it slowly. So we call it an empathy session. So the training part is that we put the blindfolds on, and it takes away your peripheral so you can still look down and see the ball and move around, but you are losing a good portion of your sight. And then in the gameplay, we give a second blindfold, which completely puts you in the dark. And you've got to rely on the coaching and navigating by communication and really trusting your players. So we even ended up, luckily, it was a very exciting moment. We got to play against some of the A-League players from Perth Glory, the men's team.
Wow.
And we had a win there, and it was very humbling, and it was great support from the players, and it was amazing. And we're in the works to get another rematch with them this year. The players are very excited, potentially even against the women's team as well. And we're solidifying matches and teams and games through the season. We've got our major season launch coming up on the Thursday, the 29th, here at Dorrien Gardens. It's going to be a very unique experience. We've got a 4-way round-robin tournament, and we're having it with our president, Jason Morocchi's bringing in GRR partners in. We're also going to have Damien McVie bringing in his company, which is Mates in Construction, great mental health space that they work in. And, of course, our major sponsors there, APM, again, 4 years in it, helping us achieve what we need to do. So we're all going to compete against our state players to see what we can achieve and hopefully come out victorious again. And it's very exciting. So we're going to be launching that, and through the season we've locked in a few games. On an ongoing basis, we'll be playing against the walking soccer. So we've been able to secure that, which is really exciting, and looking to lock in a game against the state futsal team through Superliga. And one of the clubs, which I know quite well, Diego Garcia, he's going to bring the Phoenix Futsal, which is his club, and we're going to have a game against them as well. So we've done very well when we play these other teams and players, because the advantage is that the athletes make it look simple to really rely only on the hearing and concentration and the thinking, the stratagem of the game. But new players struggle because they don't have that trust or chemistry, and they fall apart through the fear and the lack of trusting their teammates.
Yeah, no, I can absolutely see why. I think for me, I think it'd be terrifying not to know what's happening around me, and I think that's probably a fear that a lot of people have. So, this is just reality for our wonderful and talented blind futsal team. Ken, I wanted to talk about this situation that we've got. So, Perth Soccer Club futsal team is actually, essentially the state representatives, aren't they, due to a lack of competition. So how do we get more competition? How do we get more people involved? Great.
I'm glad you brought on that. So touching on that, the Perth Soccer Club was fundamental in allowing Blind Sports Western Australia to find a home and provide us a training space and be part of the club. And the players have now become club members, and they've got their membership, and they represent the Guernseys the same as everyone else. and we are that club team. There are no other clubs who are offering a space for people who are in low vision or no vision to play. So as the singular club, we are by default the state WA team representation. So some of our players historically have played and gone through to compete in nationals, and that's the pathway. So the way it works is that the Paralympics offer you a pathway for B1, which means there is no vision or you're completely blindfolded. Some of our players are B2 category or B3. So if they want to remain in that category where they can utilize, say, less than 5% of the vision and play natively in their comfort zone, that's fine. But they don't have the pathway. For them, they've got to go deeper and delve into the darkness, and they need to put the blindfold on and participate as a B1 player. If that's the case, that's great. We're working to get those players ready so they can go to the camps, go to the trials, and be representing us at nationals and hopefully get selected for the Australian squad. So it's a huge task, and it's a journey in progress, but we're taking it very slow. And we're trying to coordinate with Blind Sports Australia and the Paralympics Committee so that we can get those players where they need to be.
And you mentioned some of your partners there. Big one, of course, is APM, who's your major sponsor. How important is the support that you get from them in particular?
It's been invaluable, and we are so gracious and humbled by the fact that they've come on board from day one and 4 years strong, supporting us and really excited. They look forward to the anniversary matches for our season launch. And they always make they're good sports about the whole thing, and they can see the valid cause, and their work that they do in disabilities and helping people that need that little bit of support is their main theme. So by extension, being part of this program and this initiative is groundbreaking. So, they are really the bedrock and the firmament of what we lay upon and rest heavily. And by that same token, Perth Soccer Club would be the flag that rides high. And between the two, it ushers in a new generation of football. How do we expand on it? Great question. We would love to have mixed individuals come through, able-sided players who would like to come in, join a training session. And from that, if we can get the interest and get the excitement and get people really tasting the challenge and say, look, this is great. I can only improve by playing this type of football or futsal, then they can come on a more regular basis. And that's what we've sort of done now and successfully done with the Australian working WA walking soccer. So we've established that. So we're slowly building a league. And this has been the difficulty and the challenge due to numbers, but also due to awareness. So the more awareness we bring to the sport, the more interest we gain, we can then develop a league, a mixed league. Our goalkeeper has to be sighted and the players have to be blindfolded, but we can mix it up. And in doing so, have B1, B2, and even able-sided players and generate mixed matches in that sense. And that's the goal. So we can get more exposure, more gameplay, better players, bottom line.
And a lot of your players are, can we call them cross-coders? A lot of them actually participate in other blind sports as well.
100%. Even our chairperson at Blind Sports WA and our captain for the last 4 years, Ben Rowe, he's come back and he's won accolades at tennis and goalball. And I think he's participating in the footy. And we've got another one of our players who's delayed in joining us for the 2025 season, as Julie, she's part of Blind Sports WA. She's also huge into the women's cricket. And even some of our players that have returned and re-signed this year, we've got Sully, we've got Locke, and Rishi. They got special accolades last year for Sully being our breakout player. We call him the Bull. He's a bit of a machine, and even translating his previous sport experience in goalball, very unique sport in itself. He's really determined. He's made, futsal and his primary passion. Locke was our top goal scorer and Rishi was our goal assist player. So some really happy to welcome them, as long as the newbies as well. We've got some really great new players that have come in and taken to it very organically, very chemically. And they're gelling really well. Our training sessions have come really smoothly. So very exciting times, and very, very proud of them all.
And I guess, able-bodied football, 11 aside, whatever you want to call it in that respect, the diversity is quite big as well. I mean, ethnic, male, female, whatever you want to, it is a game that everyone can play.
100%. Look, we don't have any limitations at this stage. I mean, once it goes through the proper Paralympic pathways and that sort of thing, yes, there are the delineations. But at this stage, our team is made up of men and women and of different ages, and they've come together, and we're slowly trying to incorporate a junior section as well for young kids that want to participate and join in and do that separately. But like you say, it's open to all, young and old, men and women, everyone, every race, creed, and any willing participant that wants to come in.
Beautiful stuff. What's the aspirations, mate, before we let you go for this season for the team?
Yeah, look, I think we've done really well to get some games locked in, and we've got a few training sessions available. So we'd love anyone out there listening who's really interested in the concept to either come down, have a watch, have a listen, and really see what it's all about. And if you want to get a team and you want to come down and you want to participate, that would be the aspiration. More exposure, more awareness, and to get more games. We've only got about 5 or 6 training sessions available left that we haven't booked in for matches. So the best contact is Ben at blindsportswa.com.au. That's you'd be getting an email out to Ben Rowe, our chairperson and captain, and he'll take that information. But bottom line, I'd love to see our players develop and grow, and they can only do that if they play against different people from different backgrounds and as many games as we can get into the season. So that's generally what I'd love to happen this year.
It would be absolutely outstanding. Get plenty of numbers down there. The official launch is on the 29th of May. That is a Thursday. Get down there and say g'day to Ken and everyone. And I'm sure you've got a big season ahead, Ken. Thanks for jumping on the podcast.
Much obliged. Thanks very much.
Welcome back to the Perth SC Podcast. Big thanks to Ken Anthony, who joined us before the break. Well, let's chat a bit of what's been happening in the women's program. A fantastic win for the Azzurri girls, a 3-0 win over the Football West Academy, formerly known, of course, as the NTC. And I only thought it was right to get Captain Hannah Collins to have a bit of a chat with us. Hannah, thanks for jumping on.
Oh, good. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all. Hey, big win. You must have been stoked with that 3-0 clean sheet and all the rest.
Yeah, very stoked. The girls worked very hard for the win. And I think it just came down to how hard we worked in that game and, yeah, the finishing as well.
It all seemed to come together, both front and back. You scored the goals when you had the opportunity to, but also you managed to really kind of, quell their threats and pardon me, they're big players as well.
Yeah, I think that comes down to our chemistry. Like, I think we all work very hard on and off the ball, and that showed very well on the park. I think our chemistry shows a lot on the pitch. Like, we all work hard for each other and we back each other up no matter if we're attacking or defending.
What were your big key takeaways from that match, and what's Tommy and I guess Fernando been? What's the feedback been?
They were very happy with the win. Obviously, it was a big game, so we needed those 3 points. But going into the next game, just fine tuning some small little bits and pieces until we go into the Freo game. But they were overall very happy with the win, which is good.
Your position right in the middle of the park there, alongside Daisy McAllister, of course, a bit of a gun across the league at the moment. And then you've kind of got the up-and-comer in Maya Archibald coming through as well. So how are you feeling out that dynamic at the moment? Yeah,
well, I played with Maya back at NTC, so familiar faces. But they're workhorses. They work on and off the ball, and their technical ability is amazing, which makes me want to get better as well. But yeah, no, when I see them working hard, it makes me work even harder. And yeah, so no, they're very good players to work against.
I've said it on no, absolutely. I've said it a number of times so far. I think Daisy McAllister's in the window for that gold medal without placing too much pressure on her. But to play alongside someone like that, I went back and had a look at the highlights, and even you, I think, were kind of stoked and amazed with that first goal for her on the weekend. What's it been like to play with Daisy?
100%. Her shooting range and everything, and just her technical ability in tight spaces is amazing. She's a phenomenal player.
You're really starting to look like that side now that is the hunted. Obviously, Football West Academy sit ahead of you, but you have beaten them. You do remain unbeaten and only sit behind on games played. How do you ensure that you keep up this momentum and don't take your foot off the pedal?
I think it's just staying focused. just focusing on like our small things that we're doing quite well at the moment, like everyone getting behind the ball, and everyone getting attacking as well. So just those small things we just need to focus on and not lose focus throughout the games, especially in the later minutes. We have tend to sometimes concede, like Red Star, we conceded in last couple of minutes. So just staying focused for the whole 90 minutes.
You spent some time at Perth, and then you went away to the NTC, and now you're back.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you getting on being back at Perth for a couple of years now?
Yeah, I love it. So obviously did juniors and then went to NTC, and the program's amazing there. And then aged out and came back, but the club like family vibe is really good, and obviously the team's been amazing. We've gelled really good, so it felt like home again.
And if I was to ask your personal style, I mean, how would you describe your personal approach to the game and how you want to play?
I think just not putting pressure on myself. I feel like when I put pressure on myself, that's when mistakes kind of happen. So just relaxing on the ball and just playing freely as much as I can in the 6 role.
Yep. And is that your preferred position?
Yeah,
that
100%.
screener?
Yeah. I like to screen and also get up at the park, but defending, I like to defend.
It looked on the weekend like even when you were getting up a little bit, there was always that cover, like Maya would jump back in.
Yeah, no, our rotations in the midfield so good, and like one player would just read the other. So if I go up, Maya or Daisy would drop in. So like we all rotate really well.
And how have you seen the gelling of the new players that have come in this year? Obviously, it's a little bit different to what we're seeing. Yeah,
I feel like they've slotted in really easy, and you can see that on the park. Like we all get around each other when everyone scores. Like there's no one left out. So everyone's gelled really well.
What are your personal goals for this season?
As a team, we'd want to push for the title. But honestly, just seeing how many good performances I can have.
Obviously, the win against NTC on the weekend was a big one, and NTC is one of those sides that you're not really sure what you're going to get compared to, say, a Red Star who's going to be on your tail every single season, or a Balcatta who's become very, very competitive. How do you go maybe taking on some of those higher ranked teams such as a Red Star, who of course you've beaten so far? Is there a bit of a different approach?
Not really. I think we just go out and play our style of football and not worry about the other team. It all comes down to work rate, I feel like on and off the ball. If your work rate's good, then throughout those 90 minutes, like you're going to stay strong. But no, honestly, just keeping the ball and trying to play our football and not really focusing on them as much, just playing our game. And
your role as captain, is that something that you embrace? Is that something that you've had to work a little bit on? I mean, you're still very young yourself. It's a hell of a role to get thrown into for a big football club.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's a privilege to be one of the captains. But honestly, I think just being loud on the pitch, I don't mind shouting at people, but and positivity as well. So just being loud on the pitch, which is good. But no, it's a privilege to be one of the captains. And just still working on it. And
Fremantle this weekend, there isn't any easy games, I guess, in this league. You've got to constantly be on, and Fremantle was a side that gave you a little bit of stick earlier this season. What lessons have been maybe learnt from that and in weeks leading up to this fixture?
Well, Freya's a very good side. Their attacking front is very good, and they're really solid in the midfield. So I think just staying compact and staying to our players and just not letting them run freely and trying to keep the ball.
One thing that's also been impressive this year is the scoring of goals has been spread across so many different players, whether it's Jess Flannery, whether it's Daisy McAllister, Sam Mathers. It must be really, really solid that you can have, maybe if someone's having a little bit of an off day, then you've got that next player that's going to come up and get those goals for you.
Yeah, no, all around, I think it's pretty good that we don't just have one goal scorer. Like it's very shared across the team. Even like we've got Kim scoring free kicks from outside the box. So like it's not just put the pressure on one person. Like it's very shared amongst the group, which is good. But some of those goals last weekend were amazing. You see us all running and jumping. It's good to have those type of players that you can sort of not all just rely on one player. You have the whole team that can score in the back of the net when you need it.
What does Hannah Collins get up to away from football? How does she switch off?
I like to go to the beach.
Yeah.
Spend time with my friends and my dog as well.
Studying, working?
Yeah, I'm studying teaching.
Teaching?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the career thing? Is that something that you want to go on?
Yeah, no, I really enjoy it. I've been working as an EA when I left school and really enjoyed that. So I took a year and then I was like, I'm going to get into teaching.
You did mention that, Perth Soccer Clubs does feel like a bit of a family. It's certainly something that from the outside looking in that I can certainly see and feel. And I mean, it must be fantastic to be able to have the support of family, friends, but not only family and friends, but also those that just support the club through and through.
Yeah, exactly. Like the supporters that come down, it means a lot to look at the stadium and see people cheering you on. Even like we do some coaching with the young girls and they all come down and cheer us on and then they talk about it with us, which feels really good because like before you probably wouldn't get many supporters. So now with like the World Cup and that coming, it's been a lot better for women's football.
Do you feel that's been a bit of a bubble from that World Cup?
I reckon like it's expanded a lot more view on women's football and people are getting around it a lot more.
Beautiful. Hey, Hannah, thanks for jumping on. It wasn't that painful, was it?
No, it was good. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all. Big thanks to Ken Anthony and Hannah Collins for jumping on board the Perth SC podcast. But I did mention before we go and wrap things up, I do have some big news from the NPLW side. I can reveal here on the Perth SC podcast that following her time at Perth Glory throughout the A-League women's season, the league's leading scorer and Golden Boot winner Ella Lincoln will return to the Perth Soccer Club for the remainder of the NPLW season. So absolutely fantastic news. And looking for that Azuri side to go from strength to strength in 2025. Looking forward to seeing Ella back on the park wearing the mighty Azuri blue. Wouldn't that be absolutely fantastic? Let's have a look at the weekend. Our senior men, they are in action Friday nights. Friday night football returns as Perth take on the Western Knights at Dorrien Gardens. By the time you listen to this, it will be tonight, Friday time, and looking forward to it. Another big fixture. Make sure you get down for the 7 p.m. kickoff. Halftime crossbar challenge. A perfect way to spend your Friday night. Affordable day out for the whole family. So straight from work, pick up the kids and straight down to the football to take in some plenty of NPL action and get behind the mighty Azuri fellas. On the Saturday, our 18s and 23s will be in action at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. respectively. And for our senior women, another big fixture. They're going to take on Fremantle City in a bit of a Mother's Day special. Bring mum down, bring nan down, buy them a couple of wines and enjoy the day down here at the Perth Soccer Club. So let's wrap things up. Big thanks as always to Lydia Fiore and the teams at the Panorama Club and the Camera House Leaderville. But don't forget, you can grab each and every episode of the Perth SC podcast, available weekly on Spotify, Apple and YouTube Music. And of course, good luck to all of our sides in action this weekend. And come on, the Azuri.